Now, things can still go wrong, of course. What happens using this model when things go wrong? Well, sometimes, whereas there was this wonderful positive channel of communication going and each person was feeling fantastic about the other person, sometimes it can go down this other track. And you may have come across some married couples that you know who were once beautifully in love and it was fantastic to see. And now they're fighting like cat and dog. And there's the spiteful negative side of this one person fighting with the angry aggressive side of this other person. And the lawyers are getting involved and they fight all the way to the divorce courts. And the poor kids who are left in the middle of it are caught in this awful thing. And for outsiders this is hard to see. You know that they're actually, each of these two people has got a good core to them, but now the love chemicals have almost been reversed in their brain, so that now it's the minuses that get expanded and all they can see is a horrible monster in their partner. They've got no idea why they married them in the first place. And so this is a very unfortunate thing that happens. Years later, of course, all this hormonal stuff can settle down and they can get a bit of realism back in there, that their partner does have good qualities, but there are some attributes of them that they find fairly difficult to get on with. So what can we learn from this model that can help us with our relationships? Well, the first thing is that, one, we need to be aware of the tensions that we're feeling within ourselves. When we feel a tension and we can feel ourselves getting upset or angry or hurt, we need to be very careful that we don't slip over here and become aggressive or become a nasty person ourselves. We need to ask ourselves, okay, there's something here, there's a problem that's troubling me, what is it? We need to focus on issues, and the positive centered model helps you to focus on the issues rather than focusing on the other person. From the mixed bag concept, there's a real tendency to blame because it's all too difficult and complex that way to sort out the issues, so it seems like it's the other person that's the problem. And so our thinking when we get upset and arouse ourselves is, it's all your fault. Our tendency is to blame them. The only other thing that we can think of is, well, if it's not their fault, it must be me. So it's either you're blaming them or you're blaming yourself. If you start blaming yourself, you'll start to feel down and depressed. If you start blaming other people, you'll become an angry person. And that's why this system doesn't really work in practice and why many people do have bad relationships. From the positive centered approach, we have a model that, one, when we do feel this tension within ourselves, we have a means of addressing it. There's something that's bothering us, work out what the issue is, and we can discuss it with our partner. For example, we can say, hey, listen, there's something I want to share with you. I'm a bit troubled about this situation. There's this issue and I'm feeling this and it's bothering me in this way. How do you see it? So we can throw it out like that. The other thing that's important is we can look in our partner, be very careful at noticing when our partner is stressed. They might be stressed or they might be angry. And if they're getting angry, we need to be careful that we don't slip into any bad patterns of response ourselves. But whatever it is, we need to see this as a possible negative in our partner and maybe something to help. We have to be careful not to judge these too quickly as being something that's negative. Our partner might not even think it's a problem at all, but it does give us a good way of communicating with things. We can say to them, hey, I noticed that you did this in that situation. Why did you actually do that? What was going on in your mind? What were you thinking? And raise it as a topic of discussion. Okay, so what's important in relationships is that you're strong in yourself. You need to be strong in yourself so that you don't degenerate and go down on a negative path of behaviour yourself. You need to be strong in standing up to another person's negative behaviours, in anyone out there in the world or including your closest partner. What is it that gives you that strength? The strength comes from having this good centered view of who you are as a person, so that you have the integrity to stand up for what you believe in and keep yourself connected with the positive side of all the people that you come across in the world. Not only that, there are other people involved. So whether it's other people in your family and you want to be bringing out the positive sides of them, so you might have a couple of kids, say, and you're hoping that in the whole family dynamics that there's a positive connection from the positive part of you to the positive part of this child and that child. So the whole thing brings a big, powerful, good feeling going throughout the family, and that we're cutting out all these negative parts. If you imagine a family and everyone sees themselves from the mixed bag concept, then we've got these negatives and the minuses all tied up together, a lot of spiteful things going on, basically a situation of considerable disarray and ongoing disappointment for people. Okay, so this is a good model for helping you with your relationships. But how do you specifically deal with the negative aspects that keep coming up when you're trying to relate to people? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about in the next video, when we're going to talk about all the aspects of communication. How do you deal with aggressive people and how do you deal with passive people? So stay tuned for the next video.